Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your August 2018 mid-month general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Thank you for all those of you who continue to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me always so busy with personal one-on-one readings no matter where I'm at in the world at the time, which I love. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading, you can get all the information and my contact details by going to my YouTube channel, clicking on the little About button that's on my homepage. And you can also click on the description bar of all the videos I post. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact. And scheduling readings is usually pretty timely too. Anywhere between 1 and 3 weeks, almost always within a 2-week period of time, sometimes within a couple of days. It just depends on where the scheduling falls in the month. So if you're interested, send me an email at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you and set up a reading for you or for a loved one. I do gift readings as well. I do a wide variety of readings: love and romance, reconciliation, compatibility, career, work, and finance, investment, 6 and 12-month overviews, which look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, and channeled messages from past on loved ones. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy for really quick answers to those really quick questions. That link is also provided. Okay, let's get right into this. This reading is for the fire sign of Aries for the remainder of August 2018. We're looking at the last couple of weeks here. These are general readings, which are kind of tricky in that they're always going to resonate a little differently for everybody watching, although the energy and advice always remains the same, even if the details vary per person. But if you know your rising and moon sign, watch those as well. They can provide additional clarification. Okay, Aries, let's see what's in store for you for the last couple of weeks of August 2018 for Aries. Okay, Aries, we begin with the Two of Swords, followed by the Hierophant. We have the Ten of Cups, followed by the Three of Wands. Lovely. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall focus, energy, and guidance is the Lovers. Okay, Aries. So it looks like your general energy is maybe focused on relationships, a specific relationship in your life, or a significant choice that you have to make, which may affect a primary or significant relationship in your life. Because your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, representing the general energy focus for the remainder of August, is the Lovers. In the early tarot decks, this was actually called the Choice. Showed a man standing in front of two women or a woman standing in front of two men. The implication being that a choice needed to be made which was going to significantly affect the lives of everyone involved. Not to say that those of you watching are needing to choose between two people, or your partners needing to choose between you and somebody else. It might be that for some of you. But there's a significant choice that needs to be made, an important choice, and it will likely affect an important relationship in your life. The nature of that relationship may vary because this is a general reading. It could be your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, soulmate. And soulmates don't necessarily need to be romantic or sexual soulmates. Soulmates can come in all different shapes and sizes, so to speak. Significant choice over the next couple of weeks. And it looks like a lot of you may be a bit stuck in knowing, at least around the middle of the month or so, what decision to make, what path to choose. And there may be some reluctance and resistance in actually looking at it, the issue directly. Because we have around the middle of the month or so, we have the Two of Wands and the Hierophant. So, sorry, the Two of Swords. So swords is air energy. And in the tarot, this is the energy that governs our head. It's mental, cerebral, psychological, intellectual energy. The energy of the Suit of Swords, air energy, is about what we think, our perspectives, our outlooks, our belief systems, our personal ideology, because that directly affects the way that we see the world, people in the world, and how we relate and communicate as well. The Two of Swords is a card that represents kind of being stuck or being at a crossroads. Twos often represent choices or duality. The blindfold can represent feeling stuck and not knowing which way to go, even though the moon, this vague outline of the moon, usually when the moon shows up on a tarot card, it points to or references intuition or a deep sense of spirituality, intuition, a deep knowing, like way down deep in our gut instinct, intuition, higher self. And the blindfold can often represent not wanting to look at something directly, because once you take the blindfold off and look at something directly, then you can't claim ignorance anymore. You have to kind of deal with it, choose a path, look at it, work through it. So it looks like a lot of you, whatever this choice, this decision is, which is likely focused on, around, or will affect a primary relationship in one way or the other. It could be that you've been having some relationship difficulties. It could be that you're trying to make a decision about whether or not to stay with someone in your life, or whether or not to choose to be with someone in your life, or whether or not to continue the way that you are, or even to go to the next level. There may be a reluctance to kind of deal with it or look at it at this time. But the fact that it's come up, it's kind of represents it's a good opportunity to deal with that. The Two of Swords is clarified and accompanied by the Hierophant, Major Arcana card. You have 2 Major Arcana cards for the remainder of August, which represents significant things, profound things, life changes or events, or the opportunity for significant changes. The Hierophant is a card that represents convention, tradition, walking the prescribed path, roots, culture. You know, it represents going with the flow, doing what the conventional thing that most people do is. Organized religions, large corporations, institutions, the established and the establishment. Sometimes can represent a patriarchal person, like, you know, a priest, or someone in a position of mentoring. But convention and tradition, walking the prescribed path, doing what most people do in a certain order, sequence of events. In relationships, it can represent a deeper level of commitment, taking something to the next level, which would represent a deeper level of commitment. It could represent being exclusive, getting engaged, getting married, moving in together, meeting the parents, etc. The tried and true. There is a certain element of sacrifice in the Hierophant and going along with the energy of the Hierophant, and that, you know, you do give up a certain amount of individuality or self-expression, but the payoff is that you get to belong and have that shelter and umbrella of doing what other people do. So for some of you, this is going to play out a few different ways. Significant choice. Relationship is a focus. Feeling stuck, maybe not wanting to look at it directly, because you don't know what you want to do about this Hierophant energy. For some of you, it could be that your mate doesn't want, or somebody else is trying to decide this about you, but for the majority of you, it's you. Do I continue to stay with this person? Have we had difficulties? And if so, does the amount of time and effort that we have invested in this justify continuing? Will there be enough positive changes to continue, or the promise of enough positive changes to continue? Do I take this to the next level? Whatever that next level might mean for you. There's a sense of maybe not wanting to deal with it right now, but it's there, kind of niggling. I love how it continues to play out, however, though, Aries. It looks like a challenge right now, middle of the month or so. But then around the last week, time always being somewhat fluid, it's going to be a little earlier for some of you, a little later for others. It's tricky in general readings. Watch your rising and your moon sign too. They can provide some additional insight. But at or towards the end of August, we have the 10 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. I love this combination. It's beautiful. And the tarot, 10s represent cycles ending, or something coming to a culmination, a fulfillment, where you feel like something's finally come together. Cups in the tarot is governed by the element of water. Mercurial fluid water. And in the tarot, this is the energy of emotions, feelings, relationships, because emotions and feelings are like water. They're very fluid and mercurial. They're wonderful and they're terrible. Try not to make major decisions based on them, because they can change so easily. That's the nature of water. It's not stable enough to build anything on top of it. So emotions, feelings, relationships. The 10 of Cups is in the upright. It's a beautiful card. It's often nicknamed the Happily Ever After card, the Happy Home card. You can see all 10 of these goblets are upright and full, representing something coming to a place of fulfillment, of achievement. It's a card that can represent marriage, blessings, childbirth, being at that place where you feel like emotionally things have finally come together. There's also a strong attachment energy of home and family to this too, which is one of the reasons it can represent family, marriage, childbirth, family and home, happiness and harmony, feeling like things have finally come together again and feeling very rooted, a sense of achievement and fulfillment and completion in a beautiful sort of way. It is clarified and accompanied by the Three of Wands. Now in the tarot, Wands is governed by the element of fire. So it's very fiery, action-oriented, forward-moving energy. It's often about change, movement, action, power, creative, artistic energy, careers, things that are about building and creating, because fire is the energy of creation in a forward-moving kind of way. The Three of Wands represents the beginning of things beginning to manifest in a positive way. And I say beginnings because if tens are completion, threes represent kind of early on, a little bit, you're earlier on in the path. The Three of Wands represents that you have done some groundwork, laid some foundation, put some work into something to send your ships off, and you're waiting to see what these ships are going to bring back. And usually in the upright position, this implies watching your ship comes in and having a feeling that it's going to be good. The two wands planted in the ground behind him and the one he's holding on to represent initial efforts, work that you've done, groundwork, that you've laid the groundwork, that you've put some work into it, and you're beginning to start to see things pay off. It's not a huge completion, but you're beginning to see the manifestations of small goals being realized and things starting to happen in a really positive future looking forward moving way, if that makes sense, if I said that right. Because as you can see, this man's back is to us. He's looking forward. He's watching these ships come in or sail out, but he has a good feeling. It's an optimistic feeling. He's starting to see things pay off, the efforts of his work pay off. And it's clarifying the Ten of Cups. So at or towards the end of the month, Aries, whatever the situation is, and it's going to vary for everybody watching because it's a general reading, it looks like at or towards the end of the month, you may have made a decision. A lot of you may have made a decision. The pressure may have eased off. A lot of you may have maybe taken that blindfold off, looked at something, maybe decided to take a chance and move forward in or around or about this relationship, whatever the nature of that is. And it's paying off. Maybe the work, the time, the investment, the struggle is worth it. You're starting to see things come together and you're starting to have a sense of happiness and harmony in your emotional landscape and perhaps in connection to family and home as well, because the Ten of Cups does represent family, home, and harmony. I feel like this is a situation which has been playing out for quite a long time and it's had a fair amount of challenges. And I feel like for a few of you, maybe even for a lot of you, whatever challenges or struggles this relationship or family situation, home situation has been about, it's been at times a bit of a nightmare for some of you and very painful for some of you as well. And that could be, maybe more in the first half of the month. It could be contributing to maybe this reluctance and resistance to, do I really have to deal with this? But I feel like what you have put into it will start to pay off, and that will become more evident towards the end of the month. And it will become more evident not only in how you feel inside, but the nature of relationship and how the atmosphere of the home and family, whatever that means to you, is. And I feel like that's going to start to pay off at the end of the month. And it looks like the end of the month is going to just feel really good and better for a lot of you than it has been lately. Because it feels like it's been challenging for a lot of you Aries lately. Yeah. So Aries, that pretty much wraps up your August 2018 mid-month reading. I hope that you found it helpful or useful in some way, because that's why we do these readings. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get the information and contact details by either going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button, or you can click on the little description bar of all the videos I post. Please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a reading with you as quickly as we can. And for the really quick answers to the really quick questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. So Aries, take care. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the September 2018 general readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.